Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back again with another video. Finally getting around to part 2 of this list. So hope you checked out part 1. If you haven't already done so, please check that out, and hopefully you enjoyed that, or will enjoy that if you haven't yet checked out. And hopefully with this list of my plans or ideas, I know it's technically it's 8 o'clock, so these are just generally some of my thoughts for Monday. As I often mention, I do different things on different days, so I'll try not to be too repetitive, but most of this is going to be about empowering, or just trying to empower, support and empower Indigenous people of the Americas, basically. Obviously with peace and love, and yeah, so here goes. So number 11, I'd love to support, sorry, I'm carrying on from part 1, of course, so I did points 1 to 10 for those who haven't seen part 1. So yeah, so I'm carrying on from that list. So number 11, I would love to support change in perception of Indigenous people from the Americas, and also like support their inventors, ideas people, investors, business people, possibly encourage people to mentor for them, and mentors and people like that, inventors to also mentor them or people that are successful in their chosen field, to perhaps do a lot of charity work, supporting Indigenous people, especially young people, and supporting people on the reservations, and res for short, of course, where many Indigenous people of the Americas, certainly in America itself anyway, live, but also like in the communities across the Americas for Indigenous people, like to empower them. I'd love to create programs like that, schemes like that, which go into those areas and talk about teaching them about business skills or investing, how to put their ideas into practice, and all sorts of things like that. I hope to support any existing inventors and acknowledge inventors from history from those groups, but also to encourage ones in the future. Number 12, I was thinking recently as well about, I've heard that unfortunately a lot of Indigenous people, especially in America itself, Native Americans, a lot of women are victims of abuse or things like kidnappings or stuff like that, assaults and things like that. So, and many have gone missing. So I was thinking maybe if Indigenous people from the Americas, especially from America itself and possibly other communities as well, learn martial arts, possibly online, and possibly, like, again, mentors going to teach them about business, but also about other people like martial artists or whatnot, teaching them how to protect themselves and defend themselves a little bit, or as much as possible, obviously. And then if they're in a situation where they're attacked, they can protect themselves and each other also by uniting together as well, but also learning martial arts and things like that. So I think it'd be great for Indigenous people to like share, as I say, non-Indigenous people also to go to reservations or Indigenous communities of the Americas and teach them about martial arts and things like that, and how to protect themselves, especially women, like martial arts classes for women, and possibly sharing YouTube videos. I'm thinking about trying to possibly learn some. I'm not really the most patient, but I don't think I could go to classes, so I might just like try and check out some YouTube videos, and if I am patient enough to follow the advice, like to learn martial arts, like self-defense, if necessary, like hopefully I never have to use it, but yeah, so if they can learn that, then if they are assaulted or anything like that, maybe women generally to learn stuff like that to protect themselves would be good, and like to be inspired and motivated and encouraged just generally to have confidence to protect themselves and to be empowered, inspired and empowered, motivated, and all that sort of stuff generally. And as I say, because it's a Monday, motivational Mondays, and like number 12, or the number 12 also makes me think of motivation and stuff like that. So I'm mainly thinking about business and like Indigenous people in the Americas learning how to, or being supported in having their own bank accounts, and maybe even being trained up to work in banks as well, and also maybe in the future even to have their own banks, like other communities and groups do. Even African Americans or other groups have their own banks, I believe. And yeah, just also to learn martial arts and things like that. Number 13, I think it'd be great if Indigenous people in America could benefit from their own like scary stories or creepypastas, urban legends I've talked about before. But when movies are made about Indigenous people, I think they should always have Indigenous people in the Americas. I think they should always have Indigenous people giving their own input so that their voices are heard. So like when there's movies that are made historically, they've often insulted or given a bad reputation for to Indigenous people of the Americas. So I think it'd be good to see to see them benefit from those sorts of things, so that they could make their own movies in like scary music or things like that, which they would benefit from financially, or at least telling their own stories as well, which may help them. May mean they benefit emotionally as well as economically, if you know what I mean. Number 14, hopefully helping Indigenous people of the Americas to solve problems such as diseases, or apparently, unfortunately, they are quite afflicted by COVID or diabetes or lots of other things like that. And I think it'd be great if they could have support, like maybe organizations, NGOs and charities and all that sort of thing, helping Indigenous people in the Americas as well, medically, like in terms of healthcare and all that, providing cheap or reduced price or even free healthcare for Indigenous people of the Americas, as well as political empowerment and business empowerment. Number 15, as ever, I'd love to hear from Indigenous people of the Americas about what their aspirations are, and then look at how to help them. Number 16, on that note, I'd love to share ideas and listen to other people's ideas, as ever, about what ways to support, what are the best ways to support Indigenous people of the Americas, and again, how we can unite them together. I think being united is a great way for Indigenous people from the Americas to have more empowerment and rights and things like that. So I hope that they will develop their human rights and freedoms and things like that, or including freedom, and like looking after the world, children and animals and things like that. Number 17, I would love to see Indigenous people from the Americas being able to benefit from their strengths, again, from their storytelling, from their ideas, projects, ventures, or things like that. Godspeed. Number 18, again, I'd love to see Indigenous people from the Americas being inspired, and hopefully in the future I'll hear from Indigenous people saying that my work, or if you can call it work, or my ideas, or my whatever, my sharing of stuff, information or ideas or whatever, really benefit them, hopefully. So hopefully by the end of September I'll empower as many Indigenous people from the Americas as possible. Number 19, I'd love to see Indigenous people from the Americas be empowered in key areas, as I said before, like STEM, like science, tech, engineering, maths and things like that, and also working with other people of colour and other people of colour, empowering Indigenous people of the Americas. And number 20, especially young people people from Indigenous communities in the Americas, and again, as a community, like supporting each other as well, and also friends of the Indigenous people, supporting them. And sometimes I think with charities, you have to be a bit careful, because sometimes I wonder how, with some of these charities, how legitimate they are, how much money they actually do send to these groups, or how much support they actually do give to them. And I think it'd be good if, like, parents of Indigenous people from the Americas also learn about child protection and how to keep their children safe. And like, I think there was something that was made that, like, where parents can use it to track and monitor their children to make sure they're safe. So I think it'd be good for Indigenous people to be financially supported to get those sorts of things, and maybe even companies donating to them, and again, mentoring them and supporting them as much as possible financially, which I hope they'll be empowered as much as possible, like spiritually, emotionally, mainly, and all that sort of thing, but also financially and economically. And again, to learn about things like banking, how to get into banking jobs, and that sort of thing. Anyway, hope you have a great time, and I'm out.